Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. Today should be payday, so congratulations to all of you for getting paid yesterday, I hope. Did you all get paid yesterday by helping at least one client enroll in the startup funding package? If not, let's make sure that today is payday. So Bernard, congratulations on getting paid today. Charles, same to you. Craig, David, Eric, Felicia, Jeanette, my God, Ashley, everyone should be getting paid today. Kenya, Larry, Marilyn, Pauline, Pearlie, Reginald, Rosalind, Trevor Varn, so many of you. Congratulations, because every day, as Thomas Kearns told us to say, should be payday because there's such a demand small businesses have for funding. They need money to start or grow, but most of them are not fundable. So there's this disconnect, there's this gap, there's a problem that you and I solve. The neat thing is we solve it 100% of the time. There's no risk to the client. We absolutely will create a fundable business for them. Today's discussion, as I emailed to each of you this morning. So if you didn't receive an email from us this morning, we need to figure out what's wrong because we emailed a reminder to every one of you this morning. And we're going to talk a little bit about first tranche financing. So before we get into first tranche, let's talk about the end goal and we'll work backwards. What is the goal? Why do clients sign up with your branch to participate in the startup funding package? They sign up because they want money to start or grow a business. But what you and I know is we can't just wish upon a star and get funding. We need to have a fundable business. So that's what we focus on, is educating what it means to have a fundable business, and then we create fundable businesses. That's what you and I do. So that's actually the bottom bullet. We're going to go through a little timeline here to make sure everyone understands the process that we go through, when it normally happens, and why it's in this order. So the end goal is to get the client business funding. But to do that, we need to have a fundable business. And that, in fact, is what our program does. I got a butt kicking yesterday, verbally, from one of you who said, Mr. Bridges, just to call him out, he said, we've got to do more to get people money now. Mr. Bridges was emphatic, and he used some words that I can't ethically repeat on this Zoom training, that we need to do a better job of getting clients funding immediately when they enroll, even before they have a fundable business. He was emphatic about that. So we took that to heart. So we're making a tweak in the process, not in the program, not in the agreement, not in the payment structure, but to be able to get clients what? Their first tranche financing right away, immediately. So let's talk about that, and then we'll field questions. If you have questions, comments, concerns, type those into the Q&A box. It's like a chat box. So the topic today is now all participants in the startup program can get their first tranche funding offers within 24 hours. So right away, immediately, if you will. Now, you might say, well, what's this wording mean? So some of you don't like first tranche, and I was trying to remember what Mr. Bridges likes to call it. It's like a round of funding, a disbursement of funding, but we just call it first tranche, but it all means the same. Let's get them initial funding right away, even before we've accomplished the goal of having a fundable business. So let's talk about how that works. The why is, I guess, pretty obvious, as Mr. Bridges beat us over the head with verbally, that a lot of people need money now. Sure, they want a fundable business. Sure, they want 6 or 7 figures of business funding. But what are we doing for them now? Right now, capital N-O-W, now. So that's what first tranche financing does, or funding. So let's go through the revised timeline so you understand what to expect and how this happens. So essentially we start, and I emailed this to each of you again, by the way, so you have this in your inbox. So what happens first? You, as a branch office, enroll a client because that's what you do, right? You are the outreach, you're the educators, you enroll clients. That's what you do. That's what you're paid to do. We do all the implementation. You bring on the clients. So first thing that needs to happen is you enroll the client. Now, the great news is you're paid immediately when they do that. And then also you're paid again after they receive funding. So you're paid twice. But this is what creates payday, right? We're all clear. I had a lady I was talking to yesterday, and she, I don't know if she didn't have really much of a business acumen or what her expectations were, but in her mind, she felt she should be paid for doing nothing. And to me, that's almost like a social support. That's like food stamps or something. No, you don't get paid for doing nothing. That's not the way the economy works. It's not the way our model works. You're paid based upon educating, because if we educate a client about having a fundable business, we know we have an 85 to 87% chance that they're going to enroll. So the odds are very, very high. So once in a while, will you educate someone and not get paid for it? I guess so. On average, around 1 out of 10 times. However, about 9 out of 10 times when you educate someone, you're going to get paid because they have a problem that you solve. So this is no different. Day one is just the same. The timeline starts when a client enrolls. I was talking to another one of our distribution partners this morning, and he wanted to enroll himself. And I'm like, well, do you know how to enroll yourself? No. Well, that's a horrible problem, right? Because if you don't even know how to enroll yourself, which you don't have to, but if you don't know how to enroll yourself, how would you enroll someone else? So the answer to the how of this is we sent you each an onboarding packet, and that onboarding packet has editable agreements, and one of the editable documents, I should say. And one of those editable documents is the client agreement. Client signs it, your branch signs it. In other words, you take all the references to us out, you put your information on because it's considered private label, white label, whatever you want to call it. So I think we're all clear, day one. So that this is the same, no change. Also on day one, we send the client an onboarding email. That onboarding email should have you carbon copy, so you know it's gone out. And we've already started implementing the client. So within 24 hours, the client's starting to see deliverables met. Because remember, over here, we talk about what are our deliverables, what we're promising to do, which is they're also in the client agreement. But on the same day that they enroll, typically, they're going to get an onboarding email that has two important things: a unique address. Why is that? Because we promised to provide a unique address, bullet one. So we're doing what we promised to do. And then also there's a setup form or a questionnaire. I guess we can call it form or questionnaire. It's linked. So we need them to fill that out to give us some feedback about what do we need to do. In other words, do they want us to form a new business? If so, that's fine. And that's free, right? That's the second bullet here. Or are we going to do the capital raise off their current business? Who do they allow us to authorize to talk to? So in other words, if they put your name down on that onboarding form, that means we have authority, permission to talk to you about their file. But if they don't put your information down, then we can't talk to you about their file. It's their choice, not ours. So that is the same. Now, what's going to happen that is new is, let me go ahead and add this. We'll add new, is the funding coordinator is going to call client, welcome them aboard, welcome them, confirm receipt of the onboarding email, which we just talked about, and ask if they want first tranche finance. So this is new. That's why I'll even put some asterisks down here. So this is new. This didn't happen before. We're adding this effective today. So now we always of course, you were enrolling clients and we were onboarding them, but now there's going to be an extra step, a call made from one of our funding coordinators, calling the client, welcoming them, making sure that they receive the email. Because on occasion, people don't see the email because it gets caught up in spam, or they just have so many emails. So that's an extra touch, extra service, but also asking them, do you want first tranche financing? Now, don't confuse the fact that we haven't somehow magically time warped and from day one that all of a sudden they have a fundable business. Of course not, right? Because we've not done these things that we promised to do to create a fundable business. So with that being said, this is great. This is great. So typically same day or next business day of enrollment. So will it be day one? Well, it kind of depends on how many people enroll in a given day. But we'll just say within one business day, this is going to happen. So if the client, so this continues, I guess we'll continue with calling this new. Let's go ahead and make this continuation of the new. So then we'll put asterisk at the tail end to clarify. So then if the client tells the funding coordinator, yes, I want some funding offers now, then the funding coordinator is going to help the client complete a simple one-page application. The one-page application does not create any hard inquiries, and it gathers enough information so we can put that, it feeds into our funding platform, uses algorithms, and I guess you call it AI, whatever, I don't understand all the technical terms, but essentially we have a consortium of around 40 different lenders that have the same passion and vision that you and I have of what can we do to help people start and grow small businesses. So we will get them funding offers. Now, the common question that some of you will ask, well, what kind of funding offers will they get? I don't know, right? It depends upon them because we've not created a fundable business yet. We've got to be crystal clear. We're trying to help them get funding for business, get business funding. That happens based upon creating a fundable business. Don't be misled. I'm not saying that somehow magically in day one they have a fundable business. They don't, not yet. We haven't done all the, we started the steps, but we've not completed the steps. So this is essentially what they qualify for now. Now, it may be a little, maybe a lot. All right, Carlos has the first question. Carlos asked, do they have to accept the offers? No, Carlos, they don't. So they get offers, and if they like them, they accept them, and if they don't, they don't. John asked, will the interest rates be high? It's whatever the person qualifies for, right? So we got 40 different lenders in this perfect economic model that are all kind of competing for the funding of this client. So no hard inquiries, offers are extended. None of the lenders know what the other lenders are offering, so they're all kind of competing for the business. The offers in terms of the dollar amount, in terms of repayment terms will vary by lender. You don't set that, I don't set that. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, separate from that, the rest of the process continues the same. So I want to go through it just so we're all clear. So regardless of if they want first tranche funding or not, regardless of that, then we continue on. So we're going to get the entity form with the Secretary of State. We're going to get the EIN and bank account. We're going to build out the business credit and add trade lines. We're going to build the financials of the new business, including the balance sheet. We're going to transfer over the $10,000 to the client that we promised to do. And then once we've completed those steps, now we have a fundable business, right? That's what you see here. That's what's in the client agreement. That's what's in the press release. That's what we do. So with that being said, what's your feedback? Do you feel that many of your clients are interested in funding offers for first tranche? Or do you think, nah, money right now is not that important, they're fine? Because we know that it's normally a 30 to 60-day process to create a fundable business, right? That hasn't changed. So what we're doing is just giving the client options. If they want funding offers now, what those offers will be based upon what? The 40 lenders and the credibility of the applicant, right? So if someone gets $200,000 of first tranche financing offers, that's great. They could accept all of them in that hypothetical example. Outstanding, outstanding. But we still need to do what we promised to do. Or alternatively, say they don't get much for first tranche funding offers. Well, it doesn't matter. We still need to do what we promised to do. So it's an add-on. It doesn't change the overall process. All right. David says, good addition. Thank you for that. Felicia asked what information. So we have a simple one-page app that the funding coordinator will help the client complete. It's divided into two portions. The top portion asks information about the business. And you might say, well, wait a second. We haven't created a business yet. Well, that's true. But a lot of these entrepreneurs already have a business. We're forming a new one or an additional one. So if they don't have an existing business one, then that's fine. If they do have one, then that information can offer other funding options, right? So Felicia's asking what information. It's a simple one-page app. No surprises, no hard inquiries. Marilyn says, I value this clarity. I think the new steps are much more favorable to the client. Thank you. John's asking about the 4 trade lines, which is fine. So this is not new. Just note, this is not new. The only new things are highlighted here. As far as the 4 trade lines, what happens is that we'll visit with the client and identify what their priorities are. Trade lines typically fall into one of 4 categories, and I'll spell them out here since we have kind of our working screen. We could add a mortgage to their credit report. Now we're talking about business credit report. So obviously that is very powerful. That tends to be a larger amount, and that's very impactful to the business credit profile. And or we could do equipment / company autos. So that's category 2. So they could do any combination of these. The third would be business credit cards. Again, business credit cards, not personal credit cards, business credit cards reporting under the EIN. And then the fourth would be like net 30s. So John's asking a question about the 4 trade lines. So these are the categories. We work with each client to figure out what combination they want. And I guess John's implicit question is, well, why 4? We need at least 4 trade lines reporting on Dun & Bradstreet to create a PAYDEX score. We want to have a PAYDEX score of at least 80. So they could choose one of each, or they could choose all 4 credit cards. It doesn't really matter, but we need to have 4 trade lines. And that's part of this first, second, third, fourth bullet here, building business credit. Okay, thank you for that question, John. John also asked, can we have a funding coordinator call existing clients that haven't finished the startup program? Well, we certainly can look at that. So this is a new process that we're starting. Let me drag it down. We're starting effective today. So each of you are enrolling clients each day, right? Every day is payday. Every day is payday. So as you enroll clients today, these new steps now exist. They didn't exist before. But I guess John's point is, well, what if we have a client enrolled previously, yesterday or some point in the past? Then just if you're in communication with them, just have them reach out to us. And of course, you know how to reach us, our phone and email. They could reach out to us and we could backtrack and plug them in. That's fine. But if they don't want first tranche financing, it's okay. They're not being pushed on that. Marilyn asked, is there a limit to how many businesses a client can have? No, we have a couple clients that have as many as 10 different businesses going through at once. That's I guess, unusual. It's not unusual to have clients that have multiple businesses going through, but that is your choice or their choice. That they can go through this program one time with one business or multiple times. All right, who else has questions, comments, concerns on, first of all, getting paid today? And I know I've beat you up over this, and I apologize, but each day when you wake up, you own this business, right? You are a branch owner. And how can you own a business and not be focused on it every day? Now, if you don't want to be working in it every day, you want it to be part-time or passive, that's fine. Then you have other people doing the work under your direction or under a manager's direction. But to own a business and not have someone working it is insanity, right? That's a recipe for failure. So most of you are involved in the branch operation, but you don't have to be. But if you are, it's real simple. You get up in the morning and say, I need to help at least one client today. I need today to be payday. And there shouldn't be any problem. We had a great conversation yesterday about how easy it is to get leads. We went through and we talked about 3 primary sources of leads yesterday, called your target market. All right, and I guess Tim's asking about that. Yeah, so look back on yesterday's training. We showed you how simple it is. Home-based businesses, new start businesses, and credit turn downs are 3 excellent options. Ashley is asking about personal credit. Well, our focus is business funding, so we don't really spend much time or concern worrying about personal credit. If that's something that they want to discuss, we can, but just keep in mind we're focused on business funding. And when we talk about credit, we're talking about business credit. And when we're talking about adding trade lines, we're talking about adding trade lines to their business. That's our focus. All right, let's see. Tim says, to be clear, so first he has to prospect a potential client. Well, that's right. So you need leads, right? So you can generate leads organically, you can buy leads, you can have our affiliates provide you clients, but regardless, you need someone to educate and to enroll. And then he's wanting to clarify that on day 1, they enroll. So they sign the contract with you and they pay you, right? They're paying you either $2,500, Tim, or if they want to use the buy now, pay later financing, they're paying you a $500 down payment. All right, and then Ashley has a question that I may have lost the context. She asked, can they still move forward in the process? I bet that's a follow-up question, Ashley, that I don't remember what it was. So if you want to ask that again. So our goal today, first of all, is to make sure that you see yourself what you are. You're a business owner and your branch should be generating 6 figures a month. Not too good to be true, right? Let's focus on helping one client a day. So you're fulfilling your business's mission, you're helping people, and every day is payday. That's entirely reasonable. But if you don't think it is, then it's not. Right? The analogy we've used before is, imagine going and getting a Subway franchise and saying, well, I bought this franchise, but I don't really want to open today. I don't really want to sell any sandwiches today. That's horrible, right? If you don't want to sell any sandwiches, hire someone that'll go sell sandwiches, because businesses that are not open, that are not profitable, cease to exist. They're called zombie businesses. So we've reemphasized that. Hopefully we've got that down. We let you know that we're going to enhance the process effective immediately and allow clients to get a first tranche of financing if they would like. So they still start with enrolling with you. That stays the same. They still get the onboarding email. We start implementing right away, so they see that we're doing what we promised to do. But then the funding coordinator is going to call them. If the funding coordinator doesn't reach them, then the funding coordinator will leave a message and send a text. And then it's up to the client to respond. Otherwise, we just continue with the process. So not all clients will want first tranche finance. All right. Tim asks, could so we can. It's worded weirdly. Tim asks, could so we can literally apply for this funding with the purpose of establishing a branch. All right. So I think the wording is just confusing, but I guess Tim's asking, could he or someone that wants to open a branch go through this process? And the answer is absolutely yes. Yeah. So we have branches, our distribution partners, and we have clients. Some clients are distribution partners, but not all. So there's no requirement to be both. But yes, Tim, the answer is yes. Ashley is wanting to confirm that participants can go through this even if they have poor personal credit. Yes, personal credit is not a prerequisite for enrolling in the funding package or for our deliverables. We don't need to filter. So we talked a couple times, and I will do it one more time. How do we filter clients of who should participate? There's just two questions. Question number one, do you need money to start or grow a business? Let's go type it in here. It's so important. Pre-qualification questions. Number one, do you need money to start or grow a business? Second question, is your business fundable? That's it. So we don't need to pre-qualify their age, their race, their gender, their credit, their sexual orientation, their favorite type of chicken. None of that matters, right? None of that matters. These are the two pre-qualification questions. Now, if they say no to this, then you're wasting your time, right? They don't need your help. But many small businesses will say yes. And then when it comes to, is your business fundable, what do you and I know? Most people don't know what you and I know. They don't even know what it means to be fundable. So this answer could be wrong that they give you. I've had so many businesses say, oh, yeah, my business has been around 5 years. Well, length of time isn't a prerequisite for fundability. We've gone through right here what it takes. Well, we'll do the first. What it takes to have a fundable business. Time in business is not one of the prerequisites. Personal credit scores is not one of the prerequisites. So don't get distracted with other variables that are not relevant to what you and I are doing. So you may need to educate them, right? That's the primary role that you all and we serve, is educating people about financial literacy, because a lot of them want money to start or grow a business. This is almost always a yes, but they don't even know. So what do? We need to educate them. How do we educate them? Well, you know that there's a PowerPoint here that we've provided you an editable version of that you could use in full or in part. You know that we have a comparison sheet here that this is the training for you to use, that explains how to compare different ways to become fundable. So you have the resources, and then of course you can let us know if you need further help. Marilyn asks, can we work with nonprofits? Yes, yeah. So there was only two questions, right? We don't need to filter on other things. So I guess we'll be more direct. What doesn't matter? Because so many of you get caught up. For-profit versus non-profit. Does not matter. Personal credit does not matter. Pretty much anything else doesn't matter, right? These are the two things that matter. And then you enroll them, right? It's day one. You enroll them, you collect from them either $2,500, or if they want to do the buy now, pay later, you collect $500. That's what matters. So you don't. Some of you are so smart and so compassionate. You want to hear the life story of your prospects, and it'll just chew up all of your time. That'll kind of matter later, but it doesn't matter now. If you're spending so much time hearing people about their hopes and dreams, and I feel like vomiting if I hear one more time, oh, I was on top of the world until 2008. My God, man, that was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. We got to get past it, right? I don't care about your past. If someone says yes to this and no to this, then they're a great prospect for what you and I do. A great prospect. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Let us know what we can do to assist you. You know how to reach us directly. We should be having one-on-ones, right? All of you that are branches, we should be scheduling one-on-one sessions. If you're not doing so, we need to fix that. If you're not a current distribution partner, but you want to become one, bottom corner. If you're not a client, you want to become a client, there's what? Well, that won't highlight. Well, two-step process. So here's how to become a client. Here's how to become a distribution partner. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.